r/Askreddit. Serious. Parents who regret having kids. Why? My daughter was born mentally disabled. I always tell myself it could be worse, that there are kids who just shake back and forth in wheelchairs. Thing is, she is happy now, but has no concept of death, and I can only imagine what it will be like when her mother and I are gone. She will be institutionalized and abused probably. I work for a residential independent care facility that takes care of adults with developmental disabilities, and I can tell you that, while abuse does happen, there's plenty of devoted, loving people who will treat your daughter with dignity and respect. The sooner you get involved in finding your daughter a place where she'll be treated well, the happier and healthier she'll be in the long run. Okay, thank you. I wasn't ready to stop being selfish. I'm only 2 years in, so it's still the intense stage, but parenting so far has just been relentlessly exhausting. I feel like having a kid closed off a lot of possibilities for me, definitely killed any semblance of spontaneity in my life. This is a fear of mine. I do want children, but when and how without it impacting so much of you and your relationships? It seems like there is no middle way at all. The middle ground is getting a pet hamster that you can leave in a cage and go out. Cats are great for this too. Pretty independent pets, and also low maintenance compared to a dog. All you need is a special needs kid to think something along the lines of, I wouldn't want him to die or anything, but if I could go back to before he was conceived, I'd do things differently. I'm honestly so terrified of having a special needs child. I know that I couldn't handle it. My and I has discussed this before. We would either abort or make sure the child would go to a home where someone could love them. It's just too much for either of us to handle. Sometimes those special needs don't turn up until they are 3 or 4. It's very different, however, raising a child who is high functioning and on the spectrum than it is to raise a child with a profound cognitive disability. I feel like it has destroyed my marriage. Both of us have changed since our child was born, and I'm afraid the people we've become are not as compatible as the people we used to be. We never talk to each other, we never do anything together, and the very infrequent Essie is basically her attempt to maintain her ability to claim she makes an effort in our relationship. Any communication that happens between us is about logistics regarding our child. I understand there is a brief period after birth where everyone needs to adjust, but it has been over 4 years now. I love my child more than anyone else on earth, save for my wife, but I miss having a companion in life. If I had known it would be like this, I don't think I would have made the same decisions. The same thing basically happened with me and my wife after our first child. What brought us back was having a date night every weekend, where we drop off the kids and just focus on ourselves, and of course get it on afterwards. Yep, this was me, and my wife too. Whatever it takes, get that babysitter. Time away from your children is just as important as time with them. I love my boys more than I ever thought I could. However, it's Saturday night, and I'm covered in baby vomit with the baby refusing to sleep anywhere else but on me. He will wake about 3 times between now and when the toddler wakes at 6 AM. I'm carrying 20 kilograms more than I'm comfortable with and have no clothes that fit. I feel guilt for so many choices I make. There are times I regret having my second baby because it's so hard to juggle the needs of 2 and still find time for my needs. People tell me it will get easier, but for now, I'm hating it. Destroyed marriage via forget passionate lovemaking. It becomes a chore when kids start walking. The things you did together, you can no longer do together, or very rarely. The things you enjoyed individually cannot be replicated either. Forget unwind time, personal space, etc. Over years people change, and nothing accelerates change as having another dependent being, or 3. That's for the marriage bit. Then there's work/life balance, which goes out the F** door. The stress at work and the increasing stress of job market. You do not have the luxury of come to dissipate. What happens is that you come home after a nasty stressful day and the stress is compounded with home/kids problems. Have that for years. I love my kids. I'd still have them, but there are sacrifices people are not prepared for. I've seen marriages destroyed, homes destroyed. I've seen mental breakdowns, drugs usage, etc. I plan to never have kids, and so I glorified it in my childhood. but I think I've realized that it's not all fun and games. I have anger problems also. Because of that I really can't see myself living with anyone, much less impressionable children. It's not that I regret having her, but if I could wrap her in cotton wool and bubble wrap, put her in a cupboard for 10 years with the guarantee that I'll get the same child, then I without a doubt would. Parenthood is just not what I expected it to be. I mean, people told me that you have to make sacrifices when you become a parent, but because I had never really made any sacrifices before having her, I had no idea what that might entail or feel like. I also thought I wouldn't mind missing out on all the partying and holidays, because I would have the ultimate gift, a child, but I have found that also to be untrue. I do mind missing out on the partying and holidays, and therefore I try to cram as much as that in as I can still, which makes my quality time with my child few and far between. Yes, I have her 5 nights a week. I feed her, bathe her, teach her, discipline her, put her to bed, but I mean proper quality time I feel she misses out on because sometimes I have no desire as I'd rather be elsewhere. I feel constantly guilty because I'm not putting my all in to be the best mummy I could be, how I imagined myself to be, and I feel she is missing out. Before I had her I always wanted 3 children. Now 1 is enough for me. I don't want any more. Like I said, I wouldn't use the word regret, but if I could have taken a glimpse into what parenthood really is like before I fell pregnant, I would have been a lot more careful. People can tell you, but nothing can really prepare you for what it is really like. It is a 24/7 hands down the toughest, most exhausting job ever. Got 2 kids, both teenagers now. The eldest has anxiety and depression. Sometimes I wonder how my wife and I have managed to stay married through it all. We love both our kids more than anything, but having one with mental health issues is just exhausting. You start to anticipate the crazy as you're driving home from work. Almost nothing gets her out of her moods, and it weighs heavy on all the relationships in the household. She does therapy and meds, and they help some, but it's like she's just hell-bent on seeing the worst possible view of everything. So then you imagine the life that this person you love is likely to lead, given this tendency, and it's just depressing. It gets hard to maintain hope. Regret is a strong word, but if we could go back to when she was little and happy, and just stay there, it would be a lot better. Having been that child, I want to say it can get better. It's taken me years, from young teens to young adult, but I live on my own. I'm working full time, and going to school part time. I'm happy, and what most people would argue is successful. Your daughter, I'm sure, will get there one day. It's not easy, but I just wanted to let you know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Same here. Not trying to discount mental illness, but it's a lot worse during school and puberty. I still have depression and anxiety, but being able to somewhat make my own decisions, and not being around the people from my school, has helped me level it out.